Guess you're really looking forward to your vacation in Ireland, which is coming up very soon. It's nice that you have been able to take the time to sit and chat with me for a while and bring your views to the management team at Directions. Normally you participate in that program alongside me, and I think it's important this year that you're still a part of the program. First of all, there's been a number of changes in manufacturing over the last little while, and I'd like you to comment on the manufacturing environment as it is today.
Well, Pam, I suppose really, to be honest with you, the whole of manufacturing has been pretty tense and stressful type of area to be working in the last year or so. I know that we in personnel have been under a tremendous amount of pressure for the last 12 months, and I'm sure that there are one or two people in the rest of manufacturing that have had a little bit of stress on them also. You know, studies prove that a certain amount of stress can be very, very beneficial to a person. And I think the strategy in manufacturing is that we tend to just keep piling it on until we find exactly the right amount of stress. You know, I was at an awards dinner recently, and I was talking to Eugene Polstock's wife, and I asked her if the stress of you know, the power manufacturing mission was having any impact on him, and she said, on the contrary, that he still sleeps like a baby. He wakes up every 2 hours and cries. People tend to have different ways of coping with stress. Some people do a lot of exercise. Some people will read a book or you know, just have a hobby or two that they'll use to relieve the tension from their day-to-day lives. One of the techniques that I felt very, very strongly about and used a lot was deep breathing, and I found that that was very, very effective for me. In fact, I used it quite a bit until one day I was on the phone to Linda Barker, and I was using the technique, and she called security because she thought she was getting an obscene telephone call. Now, you know, when you talk about stress and you talk about tension, scientists will say that the best way to get rid of stress is to find the root cause of that stress and to eliminate it completely. My thesis is that if the employees in manufacturing were to use this technique, that the managers that we have in this room right now would not be alive today.
You know, we've also done very little hiring over the last few years. What has this done to the maturity of the plant population?
Well, we do have a reasonably mature population in manufacturing, and one of the things that we do track every year is the average age and average service of our employees. The unique thing about tracking average age and average service is that we have found that on average over the last year that the average age and average service of everybody got 1 year older. The only exception to that was in the power manufacturing group. We found that while their service was 1 year older, that they actually aged 2 years.
We've both been in personnel for a while now, and one thing that's really impressed me over the past couple of years is how close personnel is to what's going on within the manufacturing function. How do you feel about this?
Yes, I think that, you know, we in personnel are very much in tune with the needs of the community out there in what they call the real world. And, you know, to that end, we do get involved in a lot of things that we think are very, very much in focus with the requirements of today. For example, we're going to take a couple of our key people in personnel, and we plan to put them on a program that we think is very, very key in the next couple of months. In fact, we're going to take 2 people, and for the next 3 months, have them work on a little bit of fine-tuning of the adoption assistance program, because we think that really is a fundamental thing that we've got to look at. in manufacturing.
You know, like any other function, we sure get our share of criticism from other areas looking in and at what we are up to. What do you think of the criticism we've been getting recently?
Yes, that's true, Pam. We probably get our share of criticism from the management team. You know, we get flack on things like student hiring, too many non-regs, questions like what's happening with the MIA PIP, what's happening with PE, PD distribution. And, you know, we've got broad shoulders. I think we can probably take as much criticism as anybody else. But if I were to respond to some of that criticism, I would just probably respond in one way, and that is to say to those people who have been criticizing us, we've got your names. We've got your names. We've got your names.
There have been a number of new personnel programs announced recently. What are your comments on the PLOA program just announced?
Pam, the personal leave of absence, or PLOA as it's called, has been used quite extensively already this year. The problem with it, in my opinion, is that the wrong people are taking it. In other words, the people that we don't want to leave are actually going on leave of absence. I'd like to change that program from a PLOA to a DLOA. That program would be called the designated leave of absence, and that would allow us as managers to designate the people who we want to leave on a leave of absence.
The growth of shifting in manufacturing has created some unique staffing requirements. Do you agree that there is a concern?
Yes. Staffing of shifting has been quite a concern, and we're always looking for innovative ways to try and staff shift with as many regular people or as many IBMers as we possibly can. And we are thinking of doing a couple of new innovative programs that maybe I can illustrate here for you, that may be able to help you get a picture of some of the people that we would like to look at as potential candidates for shift. One of the groups, of course, are the retirees on call, our ROCs as we call them, and I think by using those people we'd probably be able to get a fair bit of mileage out of the type of loyalty that we expect from IBMers. Another group would be regular people who are on long leaves. These would be the people who we would expect that would be taking leaves of absence. Another group that of course we wouldn't want to use are people who regular people who would be undergoing family problems. And you know, there are people like that, for example, direct regulars who are undergoing separation, for example, would not be categorized. And then we probably have a group called special exempt people who we wouldn't also not want to put on shift. So I think that by having a fair application of sex, drugs, and rock and roll on shift, that we probably would have a much happier population on shift.
Con, you get involved in responding to a number of speak-ups. What are your comments regarding this program?
Yes, Pam, the Speak Up program is a fundamental part of our communications program with all employees. And as Personnel Operations Manager, I get to review all the speak-ups that do come in and have the responsibility for answering them. The speak-ups themselves can vary in terms of what the subject is, but you know, we really do appreciate the employees taking the time to write these speak-ups, because when they do write them, we get their true feelings on subjects. When speak-ups do arrive in the department, they are usually greeted with a fair response from myself, and sometimes you know, we are so excited to see what the content is that we will call Eugene and Kent into the room so that we can all review the speak-up at the one time. If there was one message I'd have for the managers out there, I would say that the Speak Up program is something that we're all for. Yeah.
A really high focus item this year is promotions. Does personnel monitor this activity?
Yes, we have been tracking promotions this year, and we've already blown the plan. In fact, some functions, in my opinion, have been handing out promotions like candy. From a personal point of view, I didn't get any stinking promotion this year, and you know, what do you say? One of the things I was going to do was speak up about it, but then I realized that part of my responsibility would be to answer the speak up myself, so what's the use?
Well, Con, thanks very much for sharing your views with us today. I'm sure the management team found them both insightful and very helpful. Is there one final message that you'd like to leave with the management team?
Yes, Pam, there is one message I'd like to leave with the managers. I had planned to be a part of the program and to deliver one of the modules. However, I took a look at the scores that I received from the last directions meeting that we had, and I thought that maybe a vacation would be appropriate at this time. But I hope you all have a nice day.